Good afternoon, everyone. We are here on Tilson Live. It is Tuesday. I'm Eric Aller, joined as I am every week by Dawn Dantzler, our Vice President of Marketing and Customer Experience. Hello, Dawn. How are you?
Hey, Eric. I'm good. How are you?
Doing great, doing great. So I want to invite folks in. Come on in, we'll give you a couple of minutes. We want you to drop your notes in the chat, any kind of questions, comments. Tell us where you're building. Tell us where you're watching from. Tell us what area you're thinking about building in, kind of what part of the process that you are in. If I'm trying to see how many sentences I can end with a preposition, so that maybe
All the English teachers are mad
English
because they're on
teachers that
spring
are on
break.
spring break, yep, can come on and like, oh, I want it 1 week away from this stuff. But anyway, yeah, tell us where you're watching from. Tell us where you're building. We want to hear from you guys. We are going to talk about all things building on your land. That's what we do here at Tilson Homes. We are, we happen to believe we are subject matter experts about this whole building on your land thing, particularly in Texas. So for those of you who don't know, we are a fourth generation, family owned and operated, build on your land home building company. And we only build in the state of Texas. But if you are considering building a home on your land, you will get great information from here. Dawn will make sure of it.
Awesome.
So give us a howdy. Tell us where you're watching from. Tell us where you're building, what part of the process that you are in. And then, Dawn, let's tell them what in the world we are going to talk about today, or what we're not going to talk about today.
Well, so today we're going to talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. This is one of the famous Ask Us Anything. So whatever your questions are about build on your land, drop them in the comments, because otherwise Eric and I just have to make stuff up, and nobody wants that.
We will make it up. It will be a tell-all Tuesday. That's what we're going to call this one today. Tell all, ask anything, open line, whatever you want to call it. We are here to get down to the nitty gritty of what you guys are interested in. So we've got some show prep. We can talk about exciting things like interest rates, mortgage calculators. We can talk about the price of gasoline, the price of tea in China, all kinds of things that may or may not make a difference that you have zero control over whatsoever. We are prepared, though, to talk about supply chain issues. You're going to talk about that. Labor issues, we'll talk about that. Obviously, anything that has to do with building on your land. So culverts, construction drives, septic systems, power, electrical hookups, utilities, connections, dirt pads, foundation requirements, architect control committee, property owners associations.
What all of those words mean.
What all of those words mean. I deliberately did not use any acronyms because I tend to abhor acronyms. That's the word of the day. I abhor acronyms.
Awesome.
Yep. So, folks, tell us where you're watching from. Dawn, do we have anybody joining us yet today?
We do. We have Ashley. Hello from a California refugee building
Welcome.
in Republic Grand Branch, or as Eric likes to call it, RGR.
I said no one ever. Welcome to the Republic, Ashley.
We've got David checking in. Howdy, y'all. Howdy, David.
Howdy, David. How are you?
We got Jesse. Howdy from Hutto. Anxiously waiting for construction to start. We know.
Oh, I know, Jesse. Hang in there with us.
Be patient. We appreciate your patience. We're going to get to you as soon as we can.
Yes.
Chris says, hey there. Hi, Chris.
Hey there, Chris. How are you, sir?
We got Tracy. Hi from Henley. Interior framing is almost complete, and they will move on to the exterior board and batten. Awesome.
Oh, that'll be pretty. That'll be pretty. I hope you like the color yellow, because that's the color it's going to be.
Yeah, you're going to have the color yellow for a while. It's not permanent. It's a good, consistent base for us to paint.
It comes about this color. It's very pretty.
It's gorgeous. I remember when I first started, I was so confused. I was like, why are all the houses that shade of yellow?
Why is it a matte finish?
Yeah. And I think at that time, all the studs were purple. And so I was like, this is quite a theme we got going on in our homes. It was great.
Very nice. Yes.
It was beautiful. All right, we get Schwante building a San Jacinto Sea in Sugar Land. Excited that forms are being done today.
Very cool.
That is very cool.
Wonderful.
We've got Pam Remy building in Fredericksburg, Texas. Finished all steps and signed off on final plans. What is the next step, and how long does it take to get to construction beginning?
Okay, Pam. So you sign off on the plans, the next step would be that we would order the engineered foundation design. So it's assuming we've already done the geotechnical investigation on your property. So as long as the stakeout or site evaluation has occurred, we were able to access it, and we were able to get the soil testing truck out there, the geotechnical investigation, get that rig done, get the soil test done. As long as we can get all those things done, once the plans are signed off on, the very next thing is to have the foundation designed by the engineer. And when we get that back, which takes several weeks, that goes out for bid to various foundation contractors. Now that is that part. I don't know where we stand on permits or any kind of architect control committee or property owner association approval where you're building. There's a bunch of them in Fredericksburg, so that's normal. The other thing is you are in Fredericksburg, which is Gillespie County, which is like the mecca of construction.
Everybody wants to retire to the hill country.
Everybody wants to be there. So saying all that to say, it's going to be a while to start construction. You're probably looking somewhere August, September at best to be able to start construction in Gillespie County. That's assuming everything got done and ready to go like in pretty short order right now. That's really what the wait time is to get in line, to get foundation contractor, framer, all those things lined up, ready to go, because there's a tremendous labor shortage backlog in Gillespie County. So it's probably the second highest, probably only second to Williamson County, north of Austin. So in Texas, that's probably the biggest bottleneck is Gillespie in that part of the hill country.
Okay. All right. We've got Martina. Hello, wonderful people. We are building in Hamilton County.
Beautiful.
We got our hard points drilled and should have them poured by Friday. So exciting.
Very cool. Yep. So for those of you, hard points are parts in the foundation. So in Mrs. Skate's case, we decided, or the engineer decided, that they would like for us to go through the material that's there down into a certain embedment or deepness into undisturbed soil or into virgin soil. So sometimes it's 12 inches, sometimes it's 24 inches. It depends on what the engineer calls for, kind of what the geotechnical investigation reveals to them. And so that's so our forms are set out on the Skates job, and then we're going through and per the engineer's design, drilling these hard points. So they're not piers per se, but it's kind of the closest thing you can imagine if you could to that. It'd be kind of the 12-inch diameter tubes of concrete that are going to be down there holding up the beams of the foundation.
Nice. Okay. Ashley is asking, can we put a LaSalle cathedral ceiling and cathedral porch in the San Jacinto model?
You actually can, Ashley. So was this the same Ashley that's building in Sugar Land and forms are starting?
No. She is building in Republic Grand Ranch. She's our California refugee.
Oh, okay. Then yes.
Ashley, if you already have plans, no. If you're just starting out, then yes.
Yes, the answer is yes. Yeah, we have to do a little bit of redesign on the back. The back porch needs to come out past the master bedrooms, or actually in that case, the master bathroom. So if you remember, the master bathroom and bedrooms on the kind of the right-hand back corner of that home of the model there in Spring. So the back porch would need to extend beyond past, a little bit past that, usually about 2 feet past that. So the back porch needs to go all the way back there, and then you can run that cathedral ceiling all the way out.
Okay, perfect.
Great question.
All right, and then we've got TJ watching from Fredericksburg.
Okay.
We got Rebecca. Hi from Kyle. We're building in Driftwood.
Very nice.
We got Wesley, whose Facebook notifications must be working this week again.
All right.
Howdy, y'all. Family and I are in town checking out the progress on our Canyon C. Just found out the cabinets are supposed to be going in tomorrow. Awesome.
Welcome.
And then we've got Justin from Texas. Will credit be checked in entry process? Will you guys leverage loan against land without need of a credit check? Just asking.
Okay, Jera, great question. The answer is Tilson doesn't technically check your credit. It's actually the mortgage lender that does that. So whoever your mortgage company is going to be is definitely going to pull credit. They're going to do a commercial credit report. So they pull from all three bureaus. It's more than just the one you're going to see on like Credit Karma or myfico.com or like those are kind of diet credit reports. These will be commercial credit reports that are pulled from all three bureaus by the mortgage broker. So yeah, they're, no matter what, if you're going to be borrowing the money, if you're going to be getting a loan for the home, your credit is going to be pulled. So there is still equity. The equity in your property counts towards your equity position. So that's true, depending on what the appraisal comes back at. But in all cases, no matter what, they are going to pull credit. So that's part of the approval process. Great question.
Okay, awesome. And then Jesse is asking, do you pour a little extra driveway outside the garage for rollerblading and all the fun things that we probably shouldn't do in the yard?
We have, yes. I mean, it's not included in the base price of the home, but yes, that is something that we can offer. We can get you pricing on on that. So by base pricing, I'm talking about like what you would see on Dawn's website. So
Mhm.
you go there, you see the pricing
My
that Dawn
website,
has
it's
on
mine.
it is Dawn's website. You got the trophy behind her to prove it. That subtle little trophy brag back there. It's hers. Yeah, that one. The guy that's Oscar, although it's taller than Oscar.
His name is Sam.
Sam. It is Sam. I am. So anyway, yes, that we will do that, but we need to get pricing and get it bid at because I think you're also out in the Hill Country area, so we need to get pricing on that to get that done.
Okay, perfect. And then we got Pamela that says yes, all done. So
yeah, that was her the things I was talking about with the signing off and the geotech and
oh, okay, gotcha.
Because then she gives us another one later after I told her about the link.
Oh yeah, ugh. I
Oh
know.
yeah, yep,
sorry.
Yep.
But it's gonna be so nice when you're there. But yeah. It's a little ugh right now. Martina, I know there are some delays in materials. We are months from needing any materials. Foundation is not even scheduled. What is the likelihood that the out of stock items would be in stock by the time we are at that stage? Has that happened? I really like my colors.
So it has happened.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have actually, I'm going to get it because Jerry next door has a Magic 8 Ball on his desk. I saw it this morning. So I'm going to go grab his Magic. I don't know why I haven't grabbed it up to this point, but other than the fact that it's not mine, so which is kind of a general 4-year-old thing you learn.
We might all chip in and get you one of your own. Like, you can make that happen.
You do that. Maybe a lava lamp. But yeah, Martina, we just don't know is the problem. And so, stuff that we're told was available last week isn't available this week. Stuff that we're told is available will be available. We're locking it up for 3 months. We find out in 2 months. Yep, turns out that's not the case, or that container went to LA, not to New Orleans, or not to Houston, or whatever. So unfortunately, there's no way to know unequivocally until that happens.
Right.
Now, if it happens now to the degree that we can control it, we do. So we do. That was the whole point of getting that file released. We get POs out. We will reserve things for as long as the vendor will absolutely let us reserve them. But the reality is, if it's not there, it's not there. And they can no more make it appear than we can. So if it happens, we try to give you enough notice where we can change the stuff that needs to be changed. But we do we do everything we possibly can to not have that happen. But even to the best of our planning, stuff still happens right now. Yeah. So hang in there with us. And if something changes, we will let you know.
All right, we've got Jeffrey from Goliad County building a LaPorte. It took a little while to get started, but now they are flying through it. The house is dried in and mechanicals are going in nicely. Very happy with everything. Thank y'all very much. Oh, thank you, Jeffrey. Appreciate that. All right, we've got Diane from Grayson County and Canyon. Wondering if our house will ever be done, or are we at a stop?
Great question, Diane. I don't know exactly what part you're at. I'm looking at some notes. It says that we may be waiting on power. So if that's true, let us know. Or if permanent power has been hooked up. We have a lot of jobs out there that are very close to being done, or all but done, very, very close, that the customers are having a very difficult time getting the utility company to hook up permanent power. So if your permanent power is all hooked up and it's ready to go, then please let us know. But it appears to me that's kind of what we're waiting on, is for permanent power to be hooked up. So if you want to lean on maybe GCEC or somebody like that, or if you're still in line, but there's certainly some things that we're not going to go out there 6, 7, 8, 12 times waiting on power to hook up when we know we're going to have to go out again after the power's hooked up. So it's a great question. But yeah, folks, your house will come to a point where if the permanent power is not hooked up to it, we have to stop. I mean, there's stuff that we just flat out cannot do. And we can't keep sending trades out to a place where we can't advance. So
what kind of stuff do we need done? What do we need power to kind of finish up? Like, what are we?
Well,
obviously appliances and
to do the startup
turn
of
it
the
on
HVAC.
your HVAC.
Yep, we have to do all the tests. So to startup of your HVAC, startup of your furnace, your heater. They have to test the septic system that way if there's a septic, because it has to have power.
Right.
The aerobic system, water well, it will have to have power if there's a well on there.
You can't put in carpet too, right? Because we don't want to put in your floor.
Typically, we don't have to have it to do, but usually that's one of the last things to happen anyway, because we don't want a bunch of contractors traipsing across it. So we typically won't put that in until much later. But the other thing is to do any kind of real substantive punch out. Like, you need power because you need lights, because lights cast shadows places that you don't see them whenever you're just walking through in the daylight. So closets, bathrooms, all that kind of stuff, like to do any proper, just to test the house in general. Like we can't test all the outlets and light fixtures and all of that stuff until that's done. You got the they're in climate zone 3, so you got dehumidifiers up there. You got water heaters. Even gas ones need electronic ignition. So the house you can't finish it without power. So a lot of stuff. Great question.
That was another thing I did circling back to Jeffrey. You should expect a pause while we're waiting on third-party inspections too. Like you're zipping along really fast. You may see a delay while we're waiting for the inspector to come and sign off so we can put up your sheetrock and put in your insulation and all that good stuff. So there are some natural pauses in it. All right. Ashley is building a rock wall bonus room. Asking about the rock wall. I guess she's still considering plans. Can we remove the wall separating the theater and bonus spaces to make it a large bonus space?
You can. Yeah, you can. We need to probably do some type of engineered beam up there. You're probably still going to have a step up. I believe it steps up from the bonus room up into that theater or sewing or whatever room you're using it as.
Because I think you have different ceiling heights below.
Yep, you got different ceiling heights down below. It's exactly right. So we're contending with like a 9-foot ceiling, I believe, over like the garage areas, master closet area, drop zone, utility room, and then it bumps up to a 10-foot ceiling in the kitchen area. And so, yeah, you're still gonna have a step transition, probably 2 steps, but we can remove the wall.
Okay, perfect. We've got Lisa. She is watching from Fort Worth, building a rock wall at PK Lake. Awesome.
That'll be beautiful. Yeah, I was talking about that with Hunter the other day. It blows my mind that more people from the Dallas-Fort Worth area aren't. Not that I want, I'm not trying to blow it for you, Lisa. Don't want everybody moving out there with you, but why more people don't just go out there, because it's a beautiful little hour and a half trip, and it's up where the Brazos River is actually pretty. Like it's gorgeous.
Looks a lot like the Hill Country area. Yeah. Like it's very
big rock cliffs. I mean, anyway, pretty place.
All right. We've got Pat. Still want to see a Gonzalez model. Went to the spring location several months ago. They said they would let us know since several were being built. After they got homeowners approval, send a contact message through your website. Doesn't matter when it is, where it is, we can drive. All right. So you want to go see a customer's home. Right. So yeah, we can look and see if there's anybody that we can that'll let you come out, if we've got any that are finished that are kind of close enough to the standard. I think that's the other concern about taking you out to a house. We don't want one that's had too many changes, but we'll see if there's somebody willing to let you come out and take a peek. All right, we've got Renata here from New Braunfels. What is the tentative building time for Canyon Lake, Como County?
So actual construction, you're looking at about a year of actual construction. You're probably still looking at at least probably 6 months of upfront paperwork, design, permitting, all that kind of stuff. So I would budget about 18 months total for the Canyon Lake area. I mean, you're in that hot hill country area. There is a little bit more labor supply in that area compared to like Fredericksburg, Gillespie County, because it's way further west, but still high demand area. I would budget 18 months, maybe more.
Okay. Chris is asking if he's running an approximately 200-foot electric and water line. Are the costs paid up front or rolled into the loan?
Well, Chris, it could be done either way you want to do it. If the appraisal will support it, that number can be rolled into your loan as an allowance to hook up the utilities. We do allow for that. A lot of builders don't, but we do allow for that. Or you can pay for it at the time, that it's done up front for us to do it. If you want us to do the 200 feet, we can pay us and do it too. So either way you want to do it, it can be paid up front or it can be rolled into the loan, so long as it will fit in the appraised value.
All right, perfect. Pete is asking if it's possible to get the foundation poured for a workshop that is not built by Tilson.
We used to do that, Pete. We've gotten away from that because engineers don't know exactly what customers are going to be building as far as a shop. Is it going to be wood? Is it going to be metal? Where's the weight going to be distributed? They've kind of gotten away from designing a foundation for a question mark. So what we have found is best is that you have your whoever's doing your shop, have them bid the foundation work for that.
Okay, makes sense. And we've got Jennifer. Hello, I'm watching from San Antonio and building a San Jacinto on the border of Bexar County and Medina. We signed off on plans this Saturday and still waiting for a tree permit to clear. If everything continues to fall into place with permits, etc., do you have an idea of how busy building in Bexar Medina is and maybe a time frame of when the build would begin?
I don't have a great time frame on it, Jennifer, because it's again one of those super hot areas. I mean, I can't tell you people we've seen already from the Hill Country, right? Like I've seen people from Driftwood, Fredericksburg, New Braunfels, Bexar County, Medina County. I mean, just about everybody more than half the people on here are building there. And by the way, only 3 of our 12 locations are in the Hill Country. So that gives you kind of an indication of the demand in the Hill Country. It's where everybody wants to be, which is cool because it's pretty. So all that being said, I'm still telling people you need to plan 18 to 24 months from when you do your deposit. That's how it's going. So whatever that time frame looks like, again, waiting on tree permits is part of that time. That sounds way more like Bexar County than it does Medina County to me, but that's got a lot of San Antonio. Smells like San Antonio when you start talking tree permits. San Antonio, Austin, the tree people. We do love trees, but anyway, permission to do things on my own land, I take issue with that. Anyway, so different subject for a different day. But that being said, I mean, you're still talking about, I would still budget about 12 months of construction time. Some areas is going faster than that. We have some that are getting done in 8 to 10 months, but out there where there's a huge labor shortage, I would budget about 12 months of actual construction. You're still a couple months away from construction beginning. So.
Okay. All right. And Wesley is asking, he is a cash buyer. Will he not be needing to have a final home evaluation, the final appraisal?
Right. Yeah. You won't need a final appraisal. Yeah. You're still going to have all the inspections. That's a different deal though. But yeah, great question. We're still doing all the third-party inspections. So your HVAC, electrical, plumbing, frame, engineering, energy testing, energy evaluation, energy inspections, all those are still happening. The only difference is, you're not going to have an appraisal up front or a final appraisal.
Okay, perfect. All right, we've got Julie from Denton Building in Montague County. Hopefully we signed our last change order due to something being discontinued. I'm sorry. We are on the schedule to meet our builder the week of June 20th. We were RTE a few weeks ago. What will happen in this next few months while we wait for that meeting?
So right now we wait. So that's what happens in the next couple of months. We're waiting on availability of foundation contractors, framers, so that we don't have materials sitting out there in the weather. That's really part of the reason to do that. There's no point in shipping a bunch of material out there only to know we know for a fact it's going to just sit, waiting on the trades to show up. So that's what's happening. Now, as we lead up to that date in June, which will be here before you know it. By the way, that's when kids are out of school. So if you don't think that's coming up fast, we're on spring break right now. Right. They will be out of school soon. They'll be bored 8 hours after they're out of school, by the way. So start planning activities now. But as we start, we have some milestones as we go out, kind of like 8 weeks from that date, we start looking at some things. 4 weeks out from that date, we start, checking availability of materials, making sure everything's still a go, make sure everything's still available. A week or two out after that, before that, you'll get a call from your consultant we'll schedule the pre-construction meeting. So those things will be happening. Of course, we're still working on the framing and modeling of the home. That's part of what happens at release to estimating. So our drafting team's working on the final set of plans. Our estimating department is going to start doing the actual takeoff of the house. So the shipping list, the bill of materials, what they call the BOM, everybody uses the acronym, but BOM, the bill of materials. So counting all the things. So the doorknobs, the doors, the lineal feet of baseboard, the square footage of sheetrock and plywood, and number of joists and rafters and purlins and bracing and all that kind of stuff. All that gets calculated. That's what's happening now and go for the next several weeks.
Yeah. And then we also start issuing all of your purchase orders because there are things that we know, windows are going to take 4 months. So we're ordering we are ordering everything with here's the date that we need it there kind of stuff. So we're making sure that we're getting ahead of all those supply chain issues to get all of your stuff ordered so that we can have that perfect mix of people and material at the job site at the same time, which is getting more and more difficult lately.
Yeah, that's our goal.
Okay, so Ashley is saying we want to keep as much of the trees as possible. Can Tilson leave a thick section of woods at the front of our property and utilize a driveway entrance for construction of the main home? This is in Republic Grand Ranch.
It can, yeah, and in Republic Grand Ranch, by the way, they want to leave as many trees as possible as well. So that we're in compliance there. It does have to pass their ACC or Architecture Control Committee review process. So that is, we'll have to contend with that, but it's, it's not really a big deal. But yeah, I mean, it's all going to be a function of, how far back you want your driveway to be. So that, we can help you price. Obviously, we have a certain amount of footage included in the price of all of our homes in Republic Grand Ranch. So we include the construction drive, final drive, all that kind of stuff. And we, those are factors that will need to go into play.
Yeah. As long it also, if you're adding additional electric line or water line, from the road with the utilities, that has to be factored in as well.
Yeah.
Nora is asking about permits. Do we apply for those or do you?
Nora, depends on where it's being built. So in a lot of places, we will take care of the permits, but in some places we can't. They won't let us. So depends on exactly where, and actually your sales consultant will be able to walk you through that, and our site evaluator can help you with that as well.
Okay. Wendy is asking on the Cedar Creek plan, how easy, difficult would it be to extend the downstairs ceiling heights to 10 feet versus 9 feet?
It can be done, but we have to do it through a pricing request. It has to go through our cost management department. The same people that are doing the estimating, they have to do a takeoff on that and redo the framing. So, but it can be done.
Okay. Denise is asking, what does the building time in San Jacinto County look like? I cannot decide on a plan. Also, do any of your plans have pricing for garages on the website?
How's the pricing on the website for the garages, Dawn?
So the pricing for the garage is only included if the garage is a standard part of the plan. So when you're looking at your Wimberleys, your Driftwoods, your LaSalle, Fredericksburg, Breckenridge, and I may be forgetting a couple other ones, Rockwall, I think. Those that have the garage as part of the base plan, the garage is included in the price. If you're just seeing it as a custom option that you add on, that pricing is not on the website. But you can call one of our new home specialists and they can get you the exact pricing for the exterior that you're looking at for the garage. And Eric, do you know anything about building time in San Jacinto?
I'm telling folks, look, you need to plan on 18 months. Like, do not plan on less than that. If it goes faster than that, fantastic. But I wouldn't plan for any less than that right now. I mean, there's just too much unpredictability. It only takes 6-8 months to build a house, but unfortunately right now there's another 6 to 8 months of waiting time just in there.
Right.
Waiting on materials, waiting on contractors, waiting on tree permits, waiting on this, waiting on that. So there's not a lot of urgency, it seems, with various entities, waiting on power, waiting on anyway. So
just waiting on waiting.
Yeah. So that's, I mean, those are the build times right now. And
yeah,
again, it only does us good to go faster, folks. Like if you think about the way our little business model works, okay, we lock you in on a price up front that Tilson does not get paid for till the house is completely finished, particularly those of you doing a loan. So if you're getting a loan for your home, which is like the vast majority of our customers and people in general, then the whole no construction loan thing, no interim financing, no draw schedule. Like, I know it seems that you read a lot, well, Tilson's dragging its feet or you builders are dragging your feet. Like, it doesn't do us any good. In fact, it's bad financially for us to drag our feet. So that's not happening. And that doesn't make sense, because if we drag our feet, that only means that costs go up. Time is money. That's the old saying. So even if we weren't having crazy inflation, which we are, even if we weren't having crazy gas prices, which we are, even if none of that was happening, it was just normal times, it still would not make sense for Tilson to drag its feet and wait, because we don't get paid till the house is done. So
yeah, in this case, that time is money. That time is our money.
Yeah.
Versus any other builder where it's your money that's out there. experiencing all of these same delays while you're paying for it. So I know it still doesn't feel good, but we're going as fast as we can at our standards of quality that we're willing to accept and do things for you, and to not be like, hey, your tile isn't in, we're going to do this instead. Like we're trying to keep the integrity of our product and, get you guys a home that you're happy with. It's going to take longer. So I think that's also, we kind of covered, Gina, your question. Thank you for signing on with us. That's really exciting. I love the Cypress. In Lampasas, time frame. I mean, everywhere we're really saying at least 18 months. Like you need to, from when you sign to when you move in. That's just what we're looking at right now.
Yeah, and that might be closer to the 24 where you are, by the way, in the Lampasas, in that 18 to 24, because that's where people. So the folks that were. So you got Williamson County and Burnett County. And for those of you geographically challenged, like some people I know, those are north
like
of
me,
Austin,
clearly.
north to the northwest of Austin. Okay. Well, they're running out of affordable land or time frame or whatever. And so now they're pushing out to the next north. Well, what's that? Well, that's Lampasas. Okay. So now we're seeing a big boom in Lampasas. We're seeing a big boom in Hamilton County, which I never thought I would say in my lifetime. So that's where the next outer ring of people are going to go to, that are getting kind of pushed out or forced out for whatever reason, whether it's a time frame reason or affordability reason from, or just I don't want to be around humans reason. It's my reasons. Like to just further out, like, hey, 5 years ago, Williamson and Burnett County were far enough out. They were country. They were slow going. Well, now that ain't the case anymore.
They were way in the middle of nowhere.
That's right. Well, now it's not. Now it's Lampasas and Hamilton, and then it'll be anyway. So we're seeing a big influx of that, and again, the contractors that already weren't in abundance for the Travis County, Williamson County, Burnett County areas. Well, they're no more in abundance when you're asking them to go further. And by the way, you're asking them to go further at $4 gasoline. And they're like, that's not really working for me right now. So that is a struggle, Gina, but it's something that we're ahead of, and we're doing what we can, but that's what we're looking at.
Okay. We've got a comment from YouTube. Hi from the Mojave Desert in California. Does the baseline price on the house include the appliances? I love Tilson Tuesdays. Oh, well, thank you for tuning in. Yes, the baseline prices on our website do include your appliances, with the exception of a refrigerator and a washer dryer. So those are not included, but all of your other kitchen appliances are included. So you're going to have a microwave, and your vent hood will either, depending upon your kitchen design, your vent hood will either be integrated into your microwave or it'll be separate. You're going to have an oven and a stovetop. Again, depending upon the plan, they'll either be one unit or they'll be separate units. You'll have your dishwasher and your garbage disposal also included. Am I forgetting anything important to anybody?
Nope. I always say that all the built-in appliances are included.
All the built-in appliances. And like I said, the kitchen designs will be a little bit different, but any of our new home specialists or consultants can tell you exactly what's included in each kitchen layout.
And we do offer refrigerators, washers, and dryers as well. So they're just not included in the baseline.
They're just not in the base price. All right. And they're going to be stainless steel is our standard on those. And Wes is asking, at what stage does a garage door get installed?
Like normally or now?
Like when we can get it. That's another one of those weird things that never used to be in short supply that are really hard to find right now.
Yeah, so sometimes, Wes, it's after you close if the mortgage company will allow for it. But no, in all seriousness, it's typically installed around the sheetrock stage. But I mean, I've seen some that it's the last thing we're waiting on to close, like the week of closing or the week before closing. We're waiting on the overhead door.
I've been amazed throughout this process, like the things that like suddenly are unavailable that I never would have thought, like the pull down stairs for attics, like that one blew me away, that they're in such short supply, that they're so hard to get. And
so on the overhead doors in a lot of cases. So my next door neighbor, I have an inside track. He's like a national sales manager for Clopay overhead doors. And he'll never see this because he does not have Facebook and does not watch YouTube. So, I have proof of that because I've watched him change his brakes on his son's Jeep. And I'm like, just fire up YouTube. And he's like, what? Anyway, so he is saying that at one point last year, it was if you look at the edges of the doors, the little rollers. So it's like a axle with a wheel on it. So
Hmm.
those they couldn't get. So they had the doors, no problem, but it was these little rollers
Okay.
you couldn't get, which the door does you no good
Yeah, you
if you
kind of
can't
you
just
kind of need that.
hold it
Yeah.
up. And then at one point it was the actual tracks. The actual
Okay.
tracks that go. That was the thing that was unattainable. So it's one of those things that you don't ever think about. Like ordinarily we just say, hey, here's the PO for the overhead door. Please release it and install it on the 12th. Okay. And you never see about it again. And now it's like, well, we have the door, but we don't have the rollers, but we can get the tracks on. And we're like, what? What are you talking? But that's where we are right now. Crazy.
Yep. All right. We have Brandon saying we had a stakeout in November and nothing has happened since. How long should we wait for soil sample and next steps? They're in Bear County.
Yeah, I would probably call someone, Brandon. That doesn't
Mhm.
sound like that adds up very much. So ordinarily, the soil test happens within about 3 to 6 weeks after the site evaluation is done. As long as we can get onto the site, as we only have good access. So we have culvert, we got a road, we got a cleared site, and can get on there. I mean, again, it doesn't do us any good to sit around and wait. So that's very strange that's happening.
Yeah.
If I knew more than just Brandon, we'd look it up for you.
Yeah. We've got lots of names. What is the costage per additional foot of electricity if pole is much more than 50 feet from where the home will be built?
Varies quite a bit. Todd Brett, Chigger Ridge, John 1, depending on where. So, unfortunately, we don't know enough about your situation to be able to tell that. There's one price for going in the dirt. There's a different price for rock. It's based by the county. So, but luckily, your design consulting can give you the exact price on what it would be if you need us to do it, because we don't know if you're going to need copper, if you're going to do aluminum, if you need just the conduit and the trench and the power company pulls the wire, or if you want us to do the trench, the pipe, and the wire. So it varies significantly depending on. So it could be anywhere from $17 a foot to $50 a foot, and I know that's too big of a span to be accurate. So, but they can get the exact pricing for you at your local design center pretty easily.
Perfect. We've got Lisa and Enrique from Katy, Texas. We would like to know if it's possible to do 2 bedrooms upstairs on the rock wall model.
It's possible. I mean, you're going to obviously probably lose your bonus and theater room to do something like that. But so I don't know if you're wanting to do those in addition to or instead of. If you want to do them instead of, it's pretty simple. We have to get the windows situated right where we have proper egress. So you do have to have a minimum of 3 foot by 5 foot window in each of those bedrooms.
Okay.
That's a code issue. You got to be able to climb out of that dude. You have to have 2 ways in and out of a bedroom for safety.
Okay.
One way can be a door. The other way has to be a window. So the theater room would need some rearranging because it doesn't currently have any windows in it. It's why it's a theater room.
Right. Exactly. That's why it's dark.
Yep. The bonus room is pretty easy. It's got some windows already, have access to it, so we can rearrange that pretty simply.
Okay. Perfect. Lisa is saying we're pretty early in the process. We're waiting for plans to come back, having trees cleared, and just had our design appointment, which was fun.
Sure.
At what point do we get all the paperwork necessary to turn in an app to our ACC for the house? We already applied to ACC for driveway culvert, but still waiting.
Well, I would, Lisa, get with your sales consultant and your new home coordinator, which I don't know if you've heard from her yet or not, but that they are who assist with that architecture control committee review and approval. But we can apply for you, or if you already have a relationship with them and you just need the stuff, let us know. What we don't know, it'd be better to know exactly what they want. So do they want a full set of plans and like an actual drafted site plan, or will what we did at the site evaluation be enough for them? Because it kind of varies on the spectrum of what exactly that they need.
Right.
So someone want the exterior colors, for instance, which you just had your design appointment, so we can get those together for you. We typically do. We put them all on a nice, neat sheet of paper or two and submit to them. But if it's something that you already have an inside track with, we will get you all the stuff that you need and you go handle it. That's great with us.
Yeah.
So just let your sales consultant know that you're ready to do that, because typically they meet monthly. The ACCs finally broke down and said it just for sake of time. Anyhow, so get the stuff you need, and we'll be glad to submit it for you, or we can get it to you, and you can submit
Yeah.
Either way
And
you want to
depending
do it.
how detailed they want, we're definitely gonna have to wait for those we may need to wait for those plans to be finalized, depending upon what kind of changes you made. If there were any if they only want to look at the outside, if you made no exterior changes, we can
Yeah.
probably go ahead and get that to them pretty easily. But if they want to look at everything, we need to wait until we have those plans back from drafting to show them. All right, we've got Linda and Michael. Will Tilson start a build if there's a contingency to sell our current home, asking due to build times being so extensive at the moment?
Yeah, that's a good question. So on a case-by-case basis, we have in fact done that. So we look at a couple of things because, I mean, like I talked about how our business model works, we're technically the lender for the interim, right? For the time that the house is under construction. We have to be loaning it to you interest-free, but we are the lender. And so we would look at we need to know what your equity position is on the house. So maybe if you have a CMA or competitive market analysis from a realtor that you intend to list it with, we would want to look at average days on market for that area. We want to have a pretty good idea. We want to have a good comfort level of what you are expecting to sell the home for. In other words, we want to be sure that, there's not some unrealistic expectation over here of what you intend to sell it for, and you're not settling for less. In the meantime, we have a finished house out there. We can't take those things. But yes, we look at all those things, and if we feel pretty good about your approval with the mortgage lender, we need to have some conversations with your mortgage lender too on the new home. We get comfortable with all that. Our underwriting team gets comfortable with all that. And I have seen us do that on a case-by-case basis where we can sell on a contingency. We can build your home on a contingency that your existing home has to sell. Obviously, the more rural that is, or longer days on market, or less active area, if there is such a thing right now, those would weigh into that decision. We'd be less inclined to do something like that if there's a risk that a house could sit out there for a long time for sale and not sell.
Right. That makes sense. All right. We got Jesse saying Tilson is truly the best. Well, thank you, Jesse.
Thanks, Jesse.
That's sweet. Ashley is asking to piggyback off of Denise's question, for plans that do not have garages as part of the base plan, what is the average cost to add a garage, or average cost per square foot for the garage portion?
There is not an average. That's why it's best to reach out to a design center, to a consultant. They get you the exact price because of the elevation of the house. In other words, what the house looks like from the front, what the roof pitches are. Is it stone? Is it stucco? Is it brick? Is it hardy? What's the roof pitch? Is it 612, 812, 1212? So all those things go into the actual price. How much perimeter are we talking? Is it offset? Is it a J swing? How's it done? And so for those reasons, there's not an average price. So you need to call the design center and get the actual price.
Yeah. All right.
Also, why they're on the website, by the way.
Yeah. gets really confusing. All right, we've got Corey asking, once we pay a deposit, is there a set time we have to build within? We are not sure how much we will have to improve the land after our stakeout and before building.
Well, how long do they have to get under construction, Dawn, once they put the deposit down?
So your price is locked for 120 days. We have a price protection pledge for y'all that
I'll do 180.
180, I'm sorry, 180.
We buy today.
Sorry. This is why you don't throw questions to me, Eric. 180 day. I just panicked like half of our audience. It's okay, folks. 180 days to get all of the owner responsibilities taken care of for the land. So that's going to cover everything like your land prep, getting access to the site, so culvert installation, stuff like that, and also getting through the permitting process and everything with the city. So you have 180 days to do that, and we'll hold the price that you signed at. After that, there's a built-in another, I believe it's 60 days, Eric. But your price will go up at that point. And then after that, there's another 30 days.
Yes.
That we will hold. If we get to the end of that and you haven't gone under construction, we kind of need to start over, basically. So that's how that works. So basically, you've got 180 days. If you don't think you can do that, you need to hold off signing a contract with us.
And Corey, it'd be very weird to have something that needs to be done on your land that can't be done in 6 months. And because that site evaluation that I was talking, I point that way because they are here, like they work.
They're all listening.
They're all around me. but that's done within the first couple of weeks as soon as that deposit's placed. I mean, we do that as soon as possible because same thing, we want eyes on the property to know what we're dealing with from a site preparation standpoint, from a utility standpoint, platting, permitting, all that stuff we want to take a look at. So you're going to know within a couple of weeks exactly what your to-do list is, and then you'll go from there. And even if for some reason you're like, oh my gosh, no, there's no way we can get this done in 6 months, your deposit's still good anytime, right? So like it's a $3,000 non-refundable deposit. So let's say, okay, well, look, we're not doing it now. We'll come back in a year when this is done or when this is settled, whatever, and the deposit's still good. So
you're right. I answered a lot of questions that weren't his. I'm sorry. All right. So
we're new at this. This is new. We're new to this.
It's not like we've been doing this for 2 years. It's fine. All right. So Stephanie, our Abilene D and TGR is moving along. We are happy to see the progress after a few delays. Plumbing and AC ducts are done. Electrical next. We love our porches. Yeah, cool. That house has some great porches. Thank you for sharing that. Wes said that sheetrock has been installed and cabinets are going in Wednesday, but the garage door is not there and we have a temporary front door. Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah.
Yes, Wes.
Yes.
I confirmed.
We agree. So we have Maria. How much a deposit is needed? Are there some types of land that aren't meant to build a home?
You need a $3,000 deposit. And then again, that deposit is non-refundable. There's land not meant to build a home. So
usually the cheap lots in a subdivision.
There's no such thing as a free lunch, as they say. So, I'm going to say no. There aren't types of land that are meant to build a home. There are types of land that's going to cost more to build a home on than others. Yes. So things to look for: floodplain, number one. Building in a floodplain is pretty much a no-no across the state. Most of them are not going to let you build below base flood elevation. So you can still build within the geographic boundaries of a floodplain, but you must three-dimensionally build above that plane, that flat surface. Okay. So if the base flood elevation at a certain spot is 153 feet above mean sea level, you will have to be above that.
Okay.
So that's now there are some like floodway, not going to happen. They're not going to allow you to do it. But you probably also can't. You're going to have a hard time buying land in a floodway if you take our advice and go close at a title company and do proper due diligence. Like if you do the things that we say to do in these videos and you do due diligence and you have a title company pull the title and you get title insurance and you have a survey with flood notes marked and boundary survey and corner pins located and all easements shown, you're going to have all those things are meant to, if there are red flags, these things will throw
them on that piece of paper. Yeah.
Yep. So you will be protected if you follow that advice. We are not real estate agents. We are not brokers. We are not financial advisors. We are not loan officers. What else? We're not attorneys. We're home builders. And so if you'll do those things, you won't run across one of those.
All right. Got it. All right. We've got Will from Klondike getting stuff ready for the meat chickens coming in this week. Awesome.
Will, if you're out of your mind, we're not starting a YouTube channel, man. And
I know.
Get two GoPros, bite the bullet, get the GoPros, get a decent mic, and get the clamp, like the accordion shaped clamp thing. Clamp that thing on the corner of your tractor or the corner of your sink and just video yourself doing this stuff. 10,000 viewers.
We'll put you on our channels. Everybody can just watch Will.
Yep.
Be awesome.
I'm telling you. There's nothing to it.
Absolutely.
Says the guy who doesn't have a YouTube channel, by the way. So
yeah, you do. It's called Tilson Homes.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
So we've got Jason. We're building a San Jacinto in Montgomery County, getting a roof today. What is the timeline after that? We will be at a year since signing in May.
Yeah, you're still looking at several months, Jason. So the roof going on today, the house will be dried in. The good part about that is now we can have kind of, to the degree they're available, multiple trades working. So up until this point, you've been a very linear process, one step after another. In other words, you can't do, you got to have forms to get fill in the forms. You got to have plumbing in before you can put the cables in. You have the cables in before you can put concrete in. You got to have concrete before you can do a frame. You got to have the walls framed before you can frame the roof. You got to have the roof where you can put the shingles on the roof. Well, now stuff can get kind of multiple. We can have multiple trades working at one time to the degree they're available. So, but you're still looking at several months of construction. I don't have an exact time frame right now, but I'll still budget probably another 4 or 5 months of construction for sure.
Okay. Ashley is asking, can we make large payments toward our home during construction? Will it sit in an escrow account?
So typically don't unless you're paying cash. If you're paying cash, you will be making payments while the house is under construction, but it does not sit in an escrow account. It actually goes straight to us, the builder. You don't have to make payments while it's under construction. That's one of the beauties of building with us, Ashley. There's no construction loan. There's no interim financing, and there's no payments being made during construction. You don't have to do that. My advice would be, if you're going to do something like that, put the money down at closing when the house is finished. So if you want to just finance less, because you're not really financing any of this money, you're getting approved, fully underwritten and fully approved for the loan up front before we'll start. But you actually aren't closing on that loan until the house is completely finished. So if you decide that you want to reduce that loan amount, you can do that at closing, or right before closing.
Okay, that makes sense. We got Lisa giving a shout out to Jody in the Weatherford office, who has been great so far. So thank you.
I appreciate that.
Thank you for sharing that. We've got a question from YouTube. Can Will Tilson build a tool shed to match the exterior of the main home? If so, what would be the approximate cost?
I appreciate you asking it that way, Twilight Sister. Yes, we can. No, we will not. So yeah, unfortunately we can't. We aren't able to mobilize a framing crew for something like that right now. There's not enough incentive for them to go out and do that. So they just don't, even while the house is being prepared. Now, like a 2-car detached garage is about the smallest thing we can mobilize to do. So that would be like 22 by 22, 24 by 24. So, and you actually do gain some economies of scale when you start getting a little bit bigger like that. So my guess is the 12 by 24 wouldn't cost you a whole lot less than a 24 by 24.
Okay,
so
good to know.
Something to consider, and that we will do.
Okay. Ashley is asking if Tilson offers any programs or perks for military veterans and/or active law enforcement.
I'm glad you asked, Ashley, and thank you for your service. So the way we have chosen to support active military veterans and law enforcement is through an organization called Operation Finally Home, and you've probably seen on the website the way that we do that. So what we decided as a company, as a family, as a board, is that rather than giving not a lot of money to a whole bunch of people, and incentives like $500 or $1,000 or $1,500, what we did is we said, if we're going to do something, let's do something that changes someone's life. And so Operation Finally Home is a fantastic organization that does an awesome job on vetting candidates who have been injured in the line of duty. Predominantly, it has been in IED blasts, things like that, in foreign wars, Iraq and Afghanistan. And
they have expanded their mission now to first responders as well.
Correct. Yes, exactly right. Yeah. So, which is a great thing that they have the bandwidth to do that. So they do all the vetting, they do the application process, they do all the things, interviewing of the families, and then they line up builders like us. And they do it all over the country, but they started in Houston doing that. And so that's how we've chosen to do that. And we build when we can, and when we're one of the builders and we have a good candidate to do that, we build a mortgage-free home for that wounded veteran and his or her family. So that's the way that we have chosen to put our resources towards helping veterans. And the veterans that we've talked to, they like the way we do that. So
okay, makes sense. Will is just letting us know that our warranty team is awesome, by the way. Lance is very nice and professional and did go above and beyond when he came out yesterday. Good, I'm glad to hear that.
Thanks, Will. Did you put him to work building stuff or chicken coops or anything like that?
Joss is asking, if we closed on our home and want Tilson to build a casita, what is the protocol? Is it the same process as when we built our home?
It's the same process, Joss. Yep. Although I think you have to get a different salesperson, right? Because hers got promoted.
Oh yeah, your salesperson got promoted. So Wendy will have to pick her favorite child that she'll pass you along to. And,
So yeah,
Then
give
you go
Wendy
from
a
there.
call and she can set you up.
Yes, absolutely. We get a comment on YouTube. I'm under the purchasing and estimating phase. Can I make changes to my front door and kitchen backsplash, or is it too late?
Was typically too late. Yeah, I mean that's the whole point of finalizing all the changes and getting that released to estimating, especially on front door stuff. Those are things that we are ordering to prevent losing our spot or losing an allocation, because those are things that are on allocation. Backsplash as well. I'd be very, very hesitant about messing with the backsplash, but
Yeah,
yeah.
makes sense. All right, we got Dante asking, how long is it taking on average from sheetrock to finish?
Ooh, you're looking 3 months or so, 3 or 4 months, depending on where. I mean, it varies quite a bit depending on where. Some areas it's going faster. The hill country, those hot areas like that, it's taking way, way longer. Sometimes 5 to 6 months.
Okay. We have a question from YouTube. Hi, they're building a Wimberley in Bulverde and Bell Oaks. The process is moving along. Question, at what stage in the process can we start doing some external landscaping? Do we have to wait to close?
Well, how brave are you, and how many times do you want to do it?
How attached are you to the plants that you're putting in?
Yeah. Truly, what we don't want to do is mess anything up, right? So I guess it depends on how far away from the home you're going to be doing. Like if you want to plant some trees, fruit trees, something like that. Of course, Bulverde, I don't know how well they grow fruit trees, but if you want to plant, I guess it would be live oaks, maybe live oaks. I think the best time to plant those in the fall. I mean, we're not a home and garden show, but I think the fall is kind of the optimal time to plant new trees in our neck of the woods.
Yeah, you don't want to plant them when it's about to get really, really hot, because they get really, really thirsty and then they die.
Yes, and they die. So, I mean, if it's stuff far away from the house, I'd probably cut you loose on it. But anything up close to the house, I would not recommend you do it until at least the week of closing. Just to avoid any kind of damage that gets done to it. Basically, when we're done with the outside of the home, there's still, you might be able to start then, but we are going to do some final grading. We don't do a whole lot in Bulverde. Don't have to. We don't have to work hard to establish positive drainage in the hill country. God kind of took care of that a long time ago. So we do want to make sure that we're not running water into the garage or onto the porches or something like that. But yeah, get with your building superintendent and ask them, hey, here's what I'm thinking about doing. But they're probably going to discourage you from doing anything, because again, we just don't want to. We don't want to mess it up. We don't want you to be mad at us.
Right. I think it also depends like how far away what you're doing is from the house, because I know they've got some pretty sizable lots out there. We did have one question that somebody submitted before, so I'm going to pull that one up. Brianna was asking, how do customers typically handle the construction of their well houses? Like, when do we do that? How do we get the materials? What's a well house? All that good stuff.
So what she's talking about, guys, is something around the water well and or the tank. So you got two parts. You got the well itself, which is kind of the part it comes out of the ground. It's usually 4 or 6 inches of concrete, and it's got a little switch on top, and usually a pretty small looking thing. That's the actual well. And then somewhere within a remote proximity of that will be the tank, which is the big part that you see that people will call the well, but really it's just a pressure tank that sits above the ground that you need it to fill with pressure so that it keeps pressure on the home. So she's talking about enclosing those so that in the event of a freeze, you don't suffer damage, because they can freeze. So we prove that.
We realize that does happen in Texas.
Yeah, but the pump itself of the well is actually typically submersible. There are still some jet pumps. That's very rare, but most of them are submersible. So they're actually down in the well itself, 100 feet or so. So you don't have to worry about the pump itself. You just have to worry about the water that's pumping up the PVC pipe. So the well house, I mean, we don't typically build them. I did my own. They're not. It's kind of a really cool and neat, fun way if you want to learn how to frame something pretty easily. It's pretty simple. They're squares or rectangles. They don't have to get too ornate, but it's just something that's done. Typically, you can do it while the house is under construction. That's not going to mess anything up. Most of the materials that we source for all of the exteriors of our home, for the most part, it's stuff we get from McCoy's. And it's something you could walk in and buy ordinarily from
maybe a couple years.
any of your local McCoys. Particularly talking about the OSB we use around them, the studs, of course, the ceiling joists, the board and bat hardy or hardy plank siding. I mean, obviously, we're not buying stone and brick from McCoys, but everything else that goes on the exterior of your home, we're buying it from McCoys. So you can source it at your local McCoys store. I highly recommend them. And that's how it's done. You can do it during construction or after construction. It's pretty simple.
Okay, awesome. We got breaking news from Diane. GCEC is there now hooking up power. So that's
I'm
awesome.
very happy. Thanks for letting us know, Diane. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Then we've got David, 100% love that y'all give back to veterans by partnering with Operation Finally Home as opposed to small discounts to all vets. Thank you. Thank you,
Thanks,
David.
Appreciate you.
We got Kriya, Theo and Cree checking in from Robertson County where they're building a Polidoro. And I know that because they watch a lot. We've got Ashley saying that sounds like a wonderful program for veterans. We appreciate supporting businesses that support us. Absolutely. Jackie is asking if we wanted to build a garage after closing. Could Tilson do that as well, or is it too small of a project?
Yeah, no, if we're going to do garage, it needs to be done while it's under construction. A casita is about the smallest project that we can do standalone.
Okay. And that is the last question that I see, folks. So if you have any burning questions, start typing really, really fast.
Just in time. All right. Well, so that was a lot. That was truly Ask Us Anything. So grateful that you came on. Guys, thank y'all so much for tuning in. We hope these things are beneficial to you. We know that there's a lot of information out there. We're deeply moved that you choose to get some from us. We go out of our way. Dawn especially goes out of her way to make this a very meaningful program for you guys that it is about y'all. This is not about us.
Yeah.
So if there's things that you guys just want to know about, topics you want discussed, let us know. Send them to us, tilsonnews@tilsonhome.com. We have a website open 7 days a week, 24/7. We have 12 locations around the state ready to serve you, redraw your plan, walk you through this process. We are doing live in-person seminars.
We are, yes.
At most of our locations. So that's awesome. It's like it's 2019 again. Crazy.
I know. You can actually get groups together. It's so exciting.
It's fun. So those are very informative, and you can ask not just questions of design center staff there or construction staff there, but also other people who are going through what you're going through or considering what you're considering. So there's safety in numbers, and our customers are well informed and they make great decisions. We can prove it. We have a Facebook page, we have an Instagram page, we have a YouTube channel. What else? What else do we have, Don?
Got that website, my website.
Got Don's website. So ask us questions, reach out to us any way that you want to. We genuinely are grateful that you watch us here. Thank you for the support. Thank you to our customers. We're grateful to you. Thank you for your patience, your endurance through all of this mayhem that's going on right now. It will some point come to an end and a culmination. We are out there still actively building. We have the people on here to prove it. They are, things are moving along. I know it may not seem like it. It's never fast enough, and we totally understand that. And our heart goes out to you guys. So hang in there with us. We will see this through, and we genuinely soon hope to make you part of the Tilson family. Thanks, guys. We'll see y'all later.
Bye, everybody.